Hey everyone, welcome back. Today is Friday and we're taking care of the first cutting of hay in the season. Monday we cut the hay with a sickle mower, and I kind of want to show you what we got going on. I didn't film it when I cut it with the sickle mower, just there's a lot of maneuvering going on and I didn't want to risk the camera falling off and getting ruined and hidden in the grass. But here's what we got. This young orchard, it's not the easiest to cut with a sickle mower. You have to maneuver in and out, weaving around all these trees, being really careful not to clip them or cut them or anything like that. And then the mature trees, the last thing in the world you want to do is hit one of them, or you could break your sickle mower. So it's a pretty tedious task, and by the time I'm done, my knees are pretty much wore out from pressing the right or the left brake pedal or the clutch over there. There's a lot of maneuvering. So today we've had some really warm days this whole week. I would have raked it on Thursday so that it gets put into windrows so it can dry from what's underneath, but we had really high winds and they were supposed to be done, but here we are Friday afternoon and it's still pretty windy. But I'm still going to rake it anyway, because I almost plan on having to rake it one more time just to turn it over again to get one more day of drying before I bale it. I don't like to bale it with any kind of moisture in it. Of course, nobody does, I would assume, but because I sell this as a premium hay feed for horses and other livestock, I try to make it the best I can get it. And last thing in the world I want is any mold to be in it or anything else. So anyway, I've got the Massey Ferguson side delivery rake, and the sickle mower I have that's obviously not here with me now is it's a French, I believe it's a French model, but it's called Kuhn, K-U-H-N. And it's a really short one. I think it's only 6 foot, 7 foot at the most, but I think it's a 6 foot sickle mower. And when you're maneuvering around trees, the shorter it is, the easier it is. So I'm going to get this raked up and give it a couple of days to dry, and then I'll bring the baler over, unless I need to turn it again, and especially if the wind blows the windrows all over, then obviously I'll have to rake it again. But so anyway, that's today's chores. All right. Okay, I wanted to take a break from raking hay for a second and talk to you guys about one of the many tasks we have as farmers. As my grandpa would say, we've got a lot of irons in the fire. We got a lot of things to do. So here's one of our young peach trees, and I want to show you some of the twigs on it. You can see how they're dried up, and because the leaves dried up, that twig is dying back. Eventually, if it's not taken care of, this whole branch will die back and will have to be pruned off. But right here, if you can see that cottony looking stuff, what this is from is aphids. And as an orchardist, I have to spray at least once a month to keep these aphids under control. And then you got tree borers, as we mentioned in an earlier video, that can bore into the trunk and kill the tree. But if you don't keep these taken care of, this is what happens. And the reason why this has been allowed to get this way is I've had hay that needed to be cut. So timing is everything. You don't want to spray and then get that spray down onto the forage down below that you're going to feed to animals and livestock. So it's been quite a while since I've sprayed. So after this hay is up and off the field, immediately I've got to come in now with a tractor and a spray rig and spray all of my orchard. This has gotten out of control this year, especially because of the drought we're in. Usually when you have rains that are consistent, it washes them off and keeps them in check. We haven't had that. We haven't had rain for several months, and it's been a challenge this year. They've just been thick and horrible, and the sprays are not doing their job that they normally would if we would have some intermittent rain. So anyway, I wanted to show you guys this and help you to appreciate the work that goes into farming. It's not a laid back, kick back, do it at your convenience kind of a lifestyle. There is always something to do, and you know, you're always checking your livestock, you're always checking their health. We're always checking our trees, making sure that everything is going well and our trees are healthy, and doing whatever is necessary to make that happen and have a productive fruit crop. And so anyway, I just wanted to show you guys this and help you to realize one of the many challenges we face. All right, guys, we've got the lower field to go ahead and rake, but it's just more of the same of what you've already seen, so I'm not going to film that. One thing I did want to mention, though, is grass hay. This is orchard grass and fescue and some other blended seed mixes that we grow in between the trees, and as well as the pasture bottom. A while back, we used to have livestock of our own. We had cattle and horses that we pastured on this, and it did great. They fattened up great, wonderfully on it. I no longer have livestock right now. It's just too much going on. And so we got rid of those things a few years back. But I've always continued to cut and bale hay and sell it, because in our area, at least here in the desert Southwest, hay is getting harder to find, and especially in the drought. Subdivisions are coming in and buying up the farms and putting houses on them. And so as these farms go belly up, not belly up, but sell out, people are having a hard time finding hay for their livestock. And I'm finding that the customers that I get, the majority of them are horse owners that buy from me. And that's why I try to do the best job I can in giving quality hay for the horses, because those people really care about their animals. Horses aren't an animal you just feed to fatten up and sell to the market. They're your pet almost, and people really care about them. So people come from all over when they see my ad, and they tell me all the time, man, grass hay is so hard to get. Thank you for growing it. And so anyway, that's kind of rewarding for me, but it's kind of a bad feeling that it's going by the wayside, that people are struggling to find feed for their livestock because of growth in development, and so that's sad to see. So anyway, hang on to agriculture, especially if it's been handed down to you in your family. It means something. Once it's gone, you'll never get it back. It's gone forever. So something to think about. All right, guys, so as we wind up raking hay, the next task we have in a few days, we're going to bale the hay. So I'll dump the rake off after I know that the hay is dry enough to bale, and the wind didn't whip it all over. Then I'll hook on the baler, and we'll get some footage of baling the hay in between the orchard and the pasture bottom, and then that'll conclude this one. So see you in a few days. All right, everyone, we're on the back stretch now of getting our hay done. We've got the hay cut, we've got it raked, it's dry, it's ready to bale. So I'm standing in front of my baler now, which is the final step. And since it's the first cutting of the season, getting it hitched up to the tractor, I had to go through everything and check the tires and lubricate everything with the grease fittings. So there's a million different grease fittings here all over the tractor, and so I got all that. The other thing I was doing is I put brand new boxes of wire on, and the thing about this is an old-fashioned wire baler. Nowadays everybody has the string balers, but we have the old wire bales, and so these are not cheap. These are close to $100 each, and you have to buy 2 of them when you replace them. And hopefully, if things go well, you run through the same amount of wire in each one, unless you have complications and one wire keeps breaking on a particular side, then they're not always even. But anyway, you've got to buy 2 and replace them, so you're looking at about $200. And be honest, I couldn't tell you how many bales one will get. But anyway, the thing I wanted to show you guys is doing some maintenance. This wire runs through a ceramic guide, if you can see right there. And there's supposed to be 2 of them there. And when I was checking everything and running the wire through, I noticed that some adjustments needed to be made. And then in further inspection, here's one of these ceramic guides. If you can see right here, there's a groove being worn in there from the wire going through. Now what happens is that becomes sharp, and that cuts your wire as it's going through there. And then you run into problems. You're constantly fixing bales and things. So I would remove this one, but the nuts were kind of frozen on there, and I broke them off. I even put some penetrating oil on, but it still broke. So without having to order it and wait a million days for it to get here, I decided to make my own. So what I did is I got some 3/16" bar stock, just solid steel, and I made my own. And so this is what I started with. I'll just lay it right here. I bent a hoop in the same radius as the original, and now I had to cut some threads. So I didn't have a 1032 or 1024 thread cutting die, so I had to go get one. Everything I have was down to 1/4 inch, and this is 3/16. So I got one while I was in town, and I cut my own threads, if you can see that. So now I've got to put that on, put the new guide on, and then I'm back in business, and we'll go down the road and bale this hay. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that oftentimes as a farmer, you've got to be a mechanic, you got to be a blacksmith, you got to be a carpenter, you got to be a lot of different things. And sometimes in the heat of things, as you're right in the thick of things, I guess you could say, you got to get it fixed now, and there's no time to wait for parts. Sometimes that happens and you're down and you've got to wait for them. But if you can make do with what you got, then you're better off. So thought I'd show you that. Let's start making bales. So what happened just now is we broke a shear bolt. It's common. They're designed to break before the machine breaks if it's bogged down too much, put too much pressure on it. So I'm going to replace it. Not easy to do wearing gloves. I don't want to get greasy, but I'm going to have to. All right, we're all done baling. So I've got the baler in travel mode. I moved the tongue. So we're going to head down the highway. And we're going to call it a day. Tomorrow we have to haul it and put it in the barn. The barn is right there. Catch you later. Jump in, Roscoe. Jump in. Come on. Up. All right, guys, we are done. We've got all the hay cut, raked, baled, and loaded into the barn and ready for sale. So, long process. We can finally irrigate our orchard and our pasture now. It's been 2 weeks, and so we got to get water on it. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one again. See ya.